Okay, with the creative team of Fair Life Season 1, a web TV web series. Who are we with? We got the co-creators and the executive producer all tied into one camera.
That's right.
Tell us, guys, where did this idea come from for this kind of Uber driver kind of concept of zany things happened in our Uber ride and dramatic things happen and crazy things happen, I guess. This is the kind of the was one of you an Uber driver? Is that how you got the idea?
Yeah, well, Tyler did drive Uber actually. Why don't you speak a little bit to that?
I did. Brian came to me with the idea of this kind of web series that takes place in a car, like one location, trying to keep it like, contained and easier to shoot.
Yeah.
And after he brought me that idea, I decided to, join Uber and try to get at the perspective of an Uber driver during
Gotcha.
that.
Research.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
De Niro did that with Taxi Driver. He was a taxi driver for a few months.
Yes, he did. Yeah.
So
Right on, you're like
I
De
didn't go
Niro.
as
Yeah.
crazy as De Niro, but yeah.
yeah. You didn't. It wasn't that dark. You don't go into that kind of. Yeah. Nobody's saving a prostitute for her life, I guess, right? So, anyways,
That's
No.
not till season two, man.
oh,
Yeah.
that's maybe who knows, right? Okay, so you got that idea, and then basically you guys did some research. What did you learn? I'm curious. What did you learn? Because I know you're the star of the film as well, right? What did you learn in that process? Was it? I'm assuming it's a grind. It's very mundane. Like 90% is pretty boring. I'm assuming. Tell me wrong if I'm wrong. It's very boring, and you have to go back and
I
forth to
mean,
airports and
it's
stuff.
driving, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah, it can be boring, it can be frustrating, it can be, uh, you know, uplifting sometimes. The conversations that I had with the fairs when I got them to talk,
Yeah.
um,
Were you trying
yeah,
to get them to talk, or were you just like, please leave me alone?
it was hit or miss. I'm a quiet person, so usually I like the quiet rides, but.
Do they want it? Do some people want to talk to you? Because I'm sure that we all kind of suffer from loneliness to a certain extent, right?
Yeah, for sure. There were definitely some people that were more willing to have a conversation than others. That's for sure.
Mhm.
But then we're in our phone stage too, right? Where like everybody's just on their phones and no one's really
Yes, there were
communicating.
definitely rides where I was listening to an audiobook and they were on their phone talking to whoever they wanted to talk to at the time. So, yeah,
So what's the zaniest story that you have?
the zaniest.
Or like the
Uh,
most interesting, I guess.
Find out in season two.
no, I mean, not actually, I didn't really get into too much crazy things. I think the more out there ideas that we had just came from our brains and thinking about like what the worst possible thing that could happen for a fair could be.
Also, things were embellished, like things were dialed in. Like I write the episodes, and he, I don't remember exactly what I had written, but I show him, and he goes, "That's not how it works. That's not how Uber works. Like the
Yeah.
app works differently. They already know your name." Like so, I was like, "Oh, okay. So I've gotta go and read." It's not like I've never taken an Uber. It's just like from the other side. There, in the sense he operates as a technical advisor too for me to write them because he's got the experience of actually Buddy, which is what we call the Uber driver in the show. Nobody
Yeah.
really knows his name, but he's like, "Hey, buddy. Hey, pal."
So how does it work? Can anybody, does the quality of the car count? Like
Yeah,
how do you say? Yeah.
they do have different tiers. So it's actually changed a lot since from when I started to right now. Like they've changed a lot of functionalities in the app and stuff. When I first started, you didn't get to see like the destination that you got to go to. So there were a couple of times where I accepted a ride, I got there, and then I realized, oh, I'm driving an hour away to New York,
Yeah.
and I didn't sign up for that. Um, they've changed that over the years, so now you know exactly where you're going before you even accept the fare and how much you make.
Oh, why do they do
Yeah.
that?
I think that just because like if you accept a ride and you have to go an hour and a half away and you make your own schedule, so like maybe you had something to do and you have to
Mhm.
like cancel the ride and then
Yeah.
your score gets affected and
Yeah,
things like
I
that.
remember it happened to my wife where like it was like 3 o'clock in the morning and my wife's mom was in the hospital and she went down to downtown Toronto. We were in the suburbs and it was like a maybe 45-minute hour drive. And it's I'm sure we've all gone through these experiences before. And the Uber driver's like, I'm not driving you down there.
Yeah.
Find somebody else.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I wasn't that mean
No, but
ever.
it was like because he didn't want to go down, right?
Right.
Downtown, right? So
Right.
and then
So
so
yeah,
then it takes us like he gets a 1 star rating and then he it takes us like 15, 20 minutes to find somebody else that time of the
exactly.
day, right? And it's like
Yep.
I kind of that makes sense that they do that now, right? So
Definitely a
Hmm.
little more yeah, right there.
Yeah,
all
figuring it
right,
out
so
as
there's a little bit of a parental or mother-son relationship going on in this pilot, I guess, right?
yeah,
For
yeah.
sure.
So where did that kind of like thematic come into play for the script?
Well, the stories of the fairs are somewhat from our imagination and some informed a little bit by things he went through in the actual Uber, but the other stuff, the dynamics between Buddy and his mom or Buddy and his sister who shows up on speakerphone all the time are very much semi-autobiographical, like ripped out of the pages of my life. Not exactly, like, but close.
I think that dynamic too is not definitely personal to Brian, but also easily replicated. Very similar dynamics happen across different relationships, different like multi-generational relationships, which I think makes it like a really relevant recurring timeline.
The relationship with Buddy's sister is sort of one of the spines that runs throughout because the way we see it is that what makes Fairlife unique in some ways is that the fair in each episode is the main character of the episode.
Mhm.
But over time, because Buddy is in every episode, Buddy ends up being the main character of the series, but he plays a supporting role in most of the episodes. So slowly over time, you get to know Buddy and you get to know his sister too, and you get to know that dynamic, but that unfolds more slowly. And so everything we keep saying that it's adventurous and it's zany, and sometimes it goes
Yeah.
there, like it pushes to that. But actually, what I love about Fairlife is that it's regular, is that it's slice of life. Like it goes to these moments that would almost be forgotten or not worth dramatizing, and then it finds something in them, the gem underneath the dirt that isn't worth dramatizing, and uncovers it and says, "Ah, this is also a cool human moment. This little nothing moment."
I think
So
also this,
go ahead.
oh, sorry.
No, good.
I was just going to add the slice of life thing makes it really fun and makes us want to continue to be making more episodes of Fairlife. We'll be texting each other, a Fairlife thing happened today. We've got to write it in an episode. So it makes the show more inspiring, but also in turn for me, it makes life more inspiring. You
Yes.
know, it's really fun.
And so so in the pilot episode, what he's going through, like you said, he's got his subplot with his family, his sister, his mom. It's kind of thematically entwined to the fair person, the person in the fair. It all kind of connects thematically, I guess, right?
Mhm.
It
Mhm.
does.
And sometimes the episode, depending on which one you see, you're just watching really something focused on a fair entirely. Not even every episode has Buddy's story moving forward.
Yeah.
It happens very slowly.
All right, so let's talk about the cinematic kind of design here. So basically, you're in like you guys co-directed together, so you're in a car, right?
Hmm.
So you're kind of limited in the scope of what you can do cinematically, right? But you got some good shots in there. I like that one shot that obviously I'm just breaking the third wall here is that there's the camera operator is sitting in the passenger seat, I guess, right? And he's got the
Hmm.
shot of you and the cab driver or the fare rider kind of that's a nice shot. I haven't seen anything like that
Yeah.
before. So were you guys kind of figuring out, okay, how do we make it interesting by shooting
Yeah,
in the
Yeah.
car?
for sure.
Our
Yeah.
DP is fantastic. Shout out to Mike Galliotti. He's just so like intuitively creative and always looking for something new. And in something particularly like this, it makes it, it really helps bring us to the next level.
Yeah, I mean, we couldn't do it without Mike, that's for sure. Like his skills are like incredible and totally needed to make this happen. But it is interesting to have the limit of the car
Mhm.
because we're sitting there trying to figure out what the shots are, and
Yeah.
it's like, okay, well, there's obviously these like eight shots, these are the gimmies, and then what? And so we sort of we went back and forth between actually like how much do we want to standardize it, and
Yeah.
then how much do we want to sort of try to find a unique language for a moment or for an episode or for a season. It's like it's hard to sort of I want to give an example. There's an example in the episode 4 with the girl on the way to New Jersey, right? Where we actually set up a dolly and we have the camera like slide from the driver's window to the back seat window to sort of like kind of makes it seem like the car is pulling forward, but it's not actually pulling forward and the camera's just sliding back. Little things like that actually like we couldn't plan that and to notice that the weight of the emotion would be a little different if we can pull out of the car and give them room to breathe and find a way to move from one to the other. Like that doesn't happen in the room, but it does happen in the neighborhood. Like when you're like out there shooting and you're like, oh, okay, here's how we can try this now. And so it's fun to have the standard set of shots that we created that we say, okay, these will work, these will cover it, and then to get out there and say, okay, what can we do with this extra time now
Mhm.
to push a moment further?
So the first episode, what do you think? Like each episode has its own kind of like you said, they're the passengers are the main characters. There's you can kind of mix, you can kind of play with genres, playing with tone, I guess, each episode, depending on who the passenger is, right? So are you
Mhm.
is that sort of what you want to play with? It's like it depends, like some could be very funny and then it can be dramatic. It can, you can kind of play with the genres a little bit.
Absolutely. That's one of the major themes of Fairlife, I think, is playing with genre, but also uh, like shining a light on these like smaller moments and slice of life things that happen just in everyday life.
I
Mhm.
think our goal in every episode is to make you laugh and also to tug on your heartstrings a little bit.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes.
There's
And it's
something
true though,
about
you're right. Like it pushes like some episodes really are just earth, like down to earth. And then we do have some that are like a little bit more of an adventure. Like coming up in I don't know if it's season 2 or 3 actually. There's an episode where he's racing a couple to the hospital because she's giving birth in the back seat. So like that's obviously not like a normal slice of life moment,
yeah.
right? So once in a while we drop him into like the middle of an adventure too.
Yeah.
So we do.
Well, in any cab or Uber thing, there's always got to be a baby being born, right? Eventually.
Yep.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
sure.
It happened in Taxi, right? So I remember there's a
Yep.
Taxi episode, right? I don't know. Do you guys watch that show?
I
Back
have
in the
seen it.
day?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Very good show. It still holds up today.
Oh,
I
right
highly
on.
recommend it. Yeah. So okay, so
I hope they're saying that about Fairlife in 20 years.
Yeah.
yeah, I hope so too. Okay, so how many episodes have you shot so far?
5.
5 episodes. Okay. And then how
Season
many
1 is
episodes are going to
fully
be a
shot.
season in a season?
5. Yeah, we shot all of season 1 so far.
Okay.
The way we have it conceived of is every episode is about 3 to 5 minutes long, and every season is 5 episodes. So a season
Oh.
is going to be
Oh, so the
roughly the
one that
length
I
of,
got, the 22 minutes, it's all 5 episodes.
Yep.
Yes.
yes,
Oh,
that's
okay.
season 1.
And each section is an episode.
I
That
just
makes
yeah, because I see it now, like episode 4, Jersey Girl, but it was like
Yep.
I just thought it was like a one pilot, I guess, right? But yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah, exactly.
So you're just kind of making these like tiny kind of little short films each episode.
basically.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly.
It's really nice too because each episode has an arc, but also, like Brian was saying, with the fair being the main character, but also we have seasonal arcs with Buddy leading those arcs. So it's really fun for us to have those two little things to work through in pre-production.
Yeah. It is interesting though, right? Like it's like the world that we live in now, where like there is like you just use your phone, press a button, and you go into a car with a perfect stranger, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
acceptable. Everybody, even though
Any part
everybody's
of it.
thinking about everything in life and worried about everybody, and you can't take your kids leave your kids alone for 10 seconds on the street, but then we just go into strangers' cars and everything's okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's true. It's such an incongruity, right? Like, don't come over, don't knock on my door, don't call uninvited. But yeah, I'll hop into your car, stranger.
Yeah. Just because he's got a 4.9 rating, it's like,
Right.
oh, he must be a
Yeah.
good guy.
Background check approved. He's good to go.
Mhm.
Even though he knows everything about me, he knows where I live, knows what I'm
Yeah.
doing, going. Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. And then there's a Dexter. I don't know if you watched the recent Dexter
I
series.
have, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
He
Yeah.
kills
He's
people in the
Uber
Uber.
driver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not going quite that dark, but we do have a conception for each season takes place in one day because it's always one night of
Oh,
driving for
gotcha.
Buddy.
Yeah, yeah.
So like the first season is his first day, the second season is Christmas Eve, and we do have an idea for a future season at Halloween where we have like a sort of a scary-ish thing happen. So it's not quite to the level of Dexter, but
No, but obviously certain days, like say Valentine's Day, for example,
oh, that's a
is
good
gonna
idea.
bring up certain emotions, right? Certain kind of
Yeah,
vibes
brilliant
and
idea.
energies, right? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
Christmas.
And
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, Christmas, we have Gay Pride coming up for a season. We're doing 420. So we're just all over.
420, that's coming up, right? So yeah. So okay, hopefully the driver's not doing that. So
No, no,
I don't judgment. I mean, he could. It could even make for a better episode.
not while he's acting, says the producer.
Um, so you're really getting you're showing the exteriors of this is Connecticut, I guess, right? We're in New
Mhm.
Haven.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's some like you're showing some like landmarks, I guess, in the area.
Yeah.
Yale University is highlighted. Worcester Street, famous for New Haven pizza. World famous. We're now the pizza capital of
What's
the
it
world.
what's it called? The pizza place. What's a good pizza place in
There's a
Connecticut?
couple.
There's
Pepe's.
like Pepe's and Sally's are at this like giant war.
Yeah.
Isn't
They're like right
Pepe's
next
like you
door
have
to
it
each
in the
other.
film, right? Or the movie and the show,
Yep.
right?
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
see Pepe's in
Is,
there. Yeah.
is in there. Yep.
Is it New York style pizza though? Like it's like
No,
flat?
it's New Haven style.
Maybe.
It's
New
its
York,
own style.
New York style
Yeah.
pizza
Ooh, love
is
New
the
York.
bastard stepchild. No offense to anyone who's a bastard or a stepchild of New Haven pizza. Okay, New Haven pizza is the birthplace of pizza as we know it in
I
the
was gonna
US.
say I think Italy is, but go ahead. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Italy, exactly. And New Haven pizza is taking its cues from Italy. Like New Haven pizza is the pizza, the US where the best pizza in the US can be found is in New Haven.
Okay, that's a bold
Also
statement.
bite me.
You're saying
Also,
the
fun
people,
fact.
you're saying like the Brooklyn pizza and the little, like I went to school there, like in the New York, in the Little Italy, is that New Haven's better pizza than that?
Yeah, so all
Yep.
that flop
It is.
that you have and the melty cheese and it's all falling
Yeah,
off and you're fighting to keep it in your mouth
yeah.
doesn't exist in New Haven pizza. But you get this beautiful, nice long fold. It's like a perfect funnel for the toppings right down the mouth. I can talk about this all day. Let's keep going here.
I
Okay,
think some of
all
our
right. I'm
top.
gonna write
Yeah,
that
so
down.
so the New Haven has the best pizza, that's one. And in terms of the landmarks and stuff, it is for us that Connecticut is kind of a character too, in a way. Like
Yeah, it
we
is.
really
Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the reason for that.
So you just mentioned that Connecticut is a character. So what is Connecticut? Then what are the people of Connecticut? It's kind of an interesting state from an outside perspective because it's got we just talked about New York kind of like ripping
Yeah.
off the pizza, I guess, right? Or shadowing it. A lot of people work in New York, right? But Connecticut, I just think of like rich white collar people. That's my impression of the Connecticut.
Yeah.
Which is funny, but that's only
Yeah.
like a very small population of the state. Connecticut is like so beautiful and diverse and economically diverse, culturally diverse. Like it's that one little tiny part is like two towns in Fairfield County, but that's our entire wrap for all of the world. Yet we don't have a Real Housewives show. So talk to me about that.
Yeah, why not? Well, that's like probably a good thing that you don't, right? No,
I
from my
guess.
perspective.
But then we got it like then our outward facing opinion on Connecticut has to change if we're not really housewife material.
Yeah.
Right? So we really are salt of the earth. A lot of just really strong, hardworking, lots of immigrant families that are actually really nice and fun. I've lived in Connecticut my whole life. I don't plan to leave. I love it here.
How's the film scene in Connecticut?
Growing.
Yeah.
Growing? Okay.
Yeah, we want it to grow more. Like the film scene here, it's not obviously like New York or LA or even where Atlanta's at, but I believe there's tax credits starting to come, and there's also sort of a growing sentiment, at least in me. So I
Yeah.
hope it's growing around here that filmmaking should be more accessible. And like one of the reasons I left LA and came back to Connecticut was to brush up on my skills, come to film school, and like meet a community of like-minded artists. That has happened. That's what these guys are, and the extended family of Fairlife and everyone else that we still work with. And like the further I get out of film school, and we keep doing this and keep making this happen, the more I realize how rare it is, this thing that we have. Like, I still am affiliated with the film school, and I see how when classes graduate, the connections just sort of evaporate because people move on into their lives. No judgment, no shade. That's what has to happen because we move
Mhm.
into our lives. But to have a community built around this where everybody sort of wants to grow together and everybody wants to touch into their creativity on a regular basis, even when there's no remuneration for it, it's like really, really inspiring. Like Fairlife season one was made by volunteers, but it's because everybody just wants to keep doing the thing.
Yeah.
So our goal as we continue this, and we're like making a whole push to sort of create a production model that allows for community involvement to be sort of baked into how independent projects like this get made. We're calling it Fairlife Story Labs, and it's a sort of a way of trying to bring the community in so they can observe on-set experiences, like bring high schoolers in to observe the set as we make seasons every summer, and then bring college students in to be paid crew roles. So right now we're starting to build a curriculum of workshops that can help us create revenue to make Fairlife that way and to involve the community. And we're also seeking like outside funding and outside donations with our 501(c)(3) status to build this production model so that in a few years' time, it could be something that is self-sustaining and that other states may replicate so that you don't have to say, I have to go to New York or I have to go to LA to make movies, but you can say, where's the local film community and how can we build that same self-sustaining model here that they're
Cool.
doing in Connecticut.
That's cool. I like that. Where could people watch the show?
FairLifeSeries.com in about 7 days.
Okay, so we can, but they'll send me the link to it when it's up. Because I see
Yeah.
that on your about on your it's on your website,
Yeah.
thebrianhogan.com, but it's like it's not you're not putting you haven't put the series out so far. Oh yeah.
Yeah, if you click on my website, if you go to Fairlife plus Story Labs in the header, that'll
Yeah.
take you to fairlifeseries.com, which is its own sort of web hub. And there, fairlifeseries.com is where you can watch the episodes. They're just not there yet. They'll be there in a few days.
Where you're gonna put everything online.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the trailer's there now, and you can learn about the show there now, and you can join the email list there now too if you wanted to.
Or you
So
could
you're just
donate.
sending out the festivals. Go ahead. So you're just sending out the festivals and in kind of like
Yeah.
yeah.
We're really proud of what we made, and right now we're just excited to share it.
Yeah. And I had one last question, but I saw it on your website, but I'll open it up because you did what do they call it? The poor man's concept. I seen this I was on tons of film sets. I saw all the time where
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
you get the car stays still, but then you kind of pretend you kind of use the lighting in the background and things like that to make that pretend it's the kind of you'll make the illusion that it's the car's moving, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Is
it's
that what
called the
that's what
Poor
you
Man's
guys did?
Process trailer. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what we did. The Poor Man's Process trailer. So we used rear
It's still called the
projection.
poor man's process then, right? Because that's what
Yeah.
they used to call it back
For
in the
sure.
day. Okay. Okay.
Yep.
Well,
Yep.
yeah, I mean, the thing that they do in Hollywood is called the process trailer. And so
Right.
we're doing a Poor Man's Process
No, they
trailer.
called it the poor man's process. That's when I was on big movie sets, and that's what they called it. They called it the poor man's process.
Oh, okay, great.
It's fabulous. We love
That's
it.
where I got it from. Yeah, yeah.
We're
That's where
really
I got.
fortunate to be academic partners with Sacred Heart University in Connecticut, and they are allowing us in kind to use their garage. They shut down a quarter of it in the summer for us, turn off all the lights. So it's essentially like being able to like rent our own garage space for free, completely control the landscape, and have projection rolling, which makes it such a great set for story labs and for younger filmmakers to just get their hands on equipment and start working with experienced crews. It's really fun.
Gotcha. So yeah, that you have that. Yeah, you have a picture of it. That's a great like link. Is this going to be connected to YouTube, or are you just gonna like? Is that where the plan is for the
Yep.
series?
Yeah. The playlist will live on YouTube and it'll be accessible through this webpage
That's perfect.
until
And
until next year when it starts to release fully publicly. And then the plan is to release a new season every 6 months going forward and to shoot them in the summer.
are you going to show the behind the scenes videos? Because it seems like that's what you're all about, kind of showing the
Yeah.
process.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. In fact, I'm glad that you asked that. In 2 months or so, at the end of June, beginning of July, we're starting a new initiative on YouTube and it's called Fairlife Origin Stories. So on Mondays in the morning, each week there'll be a very short new video that comes out, a similar length to the length of an episode, no more. And it'll be a sort of a behind the scenes look, starting to share the story of the things that we've been covering here, how we came to be, how it got made. We shot half the season before the pandemic, literally a weekend before the world shut down. So we couldn't shoot the other half for 3.5 years. So like things like that and the ways we sort of mitigated those challenges and the adventures we went on along the way, that's all coming out in the sort of origin stories show.
Gotcha. And Allie, you teach, right? At the
Yep.
school? Okay.
Yeah.
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 And so
I
you're seeing the new generation come up, I guess.
Yeah, so all three of us went to film school there together at Sacred Heart University. I graduated in the height of the pandemic in 2020. I was like off for a year, and then I went back and I was like, please, please, please hire me. I need to come back to film school. I don't know what to do with myself. And I've been there since 2021, working as an admin, just kind of helping these young filmmakers through their projects. I teach a few courses there. And it's really fun to see the growth of these people who, like, we've gotten students who were originally planning to be doctors and they're like, nope, that's not for me. I'm going to film school. So they don't even know how to operate a camera.
I'm
And
sure
then
their
they go,
parents love that, right?
yeah, yeah. So it's just been a really wild experience and really fun.
Yeah, gotcha. All right. Well, congratulations on the success so far. Email me when it's up, probably by maybe the time we'll kind of connect it with the podcast when it goes live. And yeah, it's like fantastic. And yeah, there's a real you really could be onto something in terms of like even branching out to like other directors, other people have a script, like a spec of a 5-minute episode of this and send it to you.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of ways to go, and then they can go out and film it, and like because you got the tone there, right? Even like no offense to you because you're great in the film, but other Uber drivers and like
Right.
expand
Everywhere. Yeah.
Totally.
yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta
That's
be
the
an
beauty
episode
of
where
life.
someone goes to Manhattan, right?
Yeah, right.
Your
Exactly.
life goes to Manhattan, right? I already have the tone.
That's
Like,
right.
get
Yeah.
overwhelmed by the big city. Again, I'm already pitching concepts, right? So
I love it. Brainstorming is one of my favorite things to do. Let's go.
all right. Well, congratulations, guys. Let's talk again when you guys make your next film, or when you guys
Awesome.
do the next series, or when you guys are like
Me too.
ready to
Yeah.
talk.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much.